Hello everyone and welcome back to another video with Jakara's Finance. Make sure, like always, that you are hitting that like, subscribe, and obviously tapping that post notification bell button so you will be able to get the videos as they come. Today, we are going to talk about something special. We are going to talk about how to remove yourself from the rat race and be able to live the life that you truly desire by creating a system and structure for you to be able to earn the money that you need to be able to live the life that you desire. Most people that work a 9 to 5 realize pretty early on that they would much rather be doing something else. Let's all be honest. Most of us have had that job where you're sitting at your desk or your cubicle and your mind begins to wander, thinking, what could I be doing instead? Could I be sitting on a beach? Could I be skiing down the slopes of a mountain? Could I be skydiving right now? Could I be racing exotic cars? Whatever those questions you may have asked at the time, there was a reason why it flashed into your mind to begin with. The reason is because you quickly figured out that what you're doing isn't in alignment with what it is that you want to be, do, or have. Well, again, today you're in for a treat because in this video, we're going to specifically talk about how you can move from being in a job where you have a certain amount of income that comes in every month to moving yourself out of that position and bringing in income without actually having to go to a 9 to 5. Now, let's go ahead and get into some basics. The first thing we're going to need to break down and analyze is what is it that you want to have, do, or experience in your life. That is going to determine exactly how much money you're going to need. These are going to be some questions that you need to really sit down and think about. Think about, if you could live anywhere, where would you live? If it didn't matter where your job was, what city would you live in? What state or country would you live in? These are kind of questions that you need to ask yourself. Also, you need to ask yourself, what kind of things do I want to have? Do you want to drive exotic cars? Do you not really care much about cars and just want to have a basic mode of transportation that gets you back and forth? Do you like exotic watches? Watches that cost tens of thousands of dollars? Or are you the type of person that doesn't wear a watch at all? Do you like jewelry? Do you not? Do you like designer clothing? Or is that something that's not really that big of a deal for you? These are the kinds of things that you need to start to ask yourself the questions. Now, as you do this, remember, there's no one that's going to judge you. If you're someone that wants a $4,000 Versace three-piece suit, then by all means write it down. Go for it. This is your life. This is what you decide, not anyone else. Not your spouse, not your parents, not your children, not your neighbors, no one. It's you. And you can build it the way that you want to build it. Now, other questions you need to ask yourself. Do you want to travel? And if so, where do you want to go? Do you want to travel to Caribbean islands? Do you want to travel to Australia? Do you want to travel to North America? Do you want to travel to the Maldives? Do you want to travel just to the next country over or the next state over, depending on where you live? These are the things, again, that you want to ask yourself. Once you begin to write these things down and get a clear idea of some of the things that you want to experience, now you want to put a time frame on the experience. This is where we're going to have to begin to shed some limiting beliefs. I believe in creating 3 to 6 month time frames. I know that sounds like that's a relatively short amount of time, but there's a reason why we're putting such a small amount of time on these particular goals. And we'll talk more about that towards the end of the video. But again, you want to try to create 3 to 6 month goals. If you feel like some of these are really, really big, then you may want to go 9 months to 12 months, but no further than 12 months. Once you begin to bring in all the data, understanding that, for example, if you live in Los Angeles and you want to take a trip to Sydney, Australia within the next 6 months, and you say, okay, all those expenses will cost me $7,000, and this is hypothetical because I have no idea how much something like that would cost. You write that number down. You begin to do the same thing with all the other things that you want to experience. What I want to do right now, though, is give you guys a little nugget. When you're talking about buying a vehicle, for example, let's say you wanted to purchase a car and you wanted to purchase a Porsche Panamera and it costs $30,000. Don't write down $30,000. What you want to do is figure out how much something like that would cost on a monthly basis. So if you said the car costs $30,000, but you can finance it and it would end up costing $700 a month, then you write down the number $700 per month. Okay? There's a reason for that. Now, once you've figured out all of what your expenses will be, what we do is we break it down into what it would cost us monthly. So now going back to the car example, you realize that having the kind of car that you desire costs you $700 a month. You write that down. Living in the new apartment or home or condo will cost you this amount per month, whereas $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, whatever the number is. We're going to write all those numbers down. Experiencing skydiving, experiencing buying the new luxury purse, buying the new watch, whatever it is. We're going to write all those things down and we're going to come to a number per month. Another tidbit that I would want you to do, and this is another nugget, and it's very, very important. When you're breaking down the list of things that you want to experience, what you need to quickly figure out, what are the things that are the most important to you that you want to experience right now? And you put a star by those things. So if you have 3 things that are higher dollar amount things, for example, I want to move into a condo and the condo will cost me $1,000 per month. I want to buy a car and it will cost me $700 per month. I want to buy a new gaming system and that cost me $5,000 in total. What you want to do with those things, because those are all higher ticket items, what you want to do with those items is you want to say, okay, this is priority number 1. You circle that one. This is priority 2 and priority 3. And what you do is you take the number 1 priorities, and then you place them in your either 3, 6, 9, or 12 month time frames. That is extremely important. That's going to help you a lot. Now, once you have all these numbers written down, you'll say, okay, based on the things that are priority 1 that I want to experience, that I desire to experience, do, or have, it's going to cost me $10,000 per month for this particular lifestyle. Okay, great. So $10,000 a month is a number. Now again, the things that you want to experience, the things that you may want, it's going to fluctuate for everyone. For some people, when they finish writing everything down, it's only going to cost $6,000. For some people, it's only going to cost $2,800 a month. For some people, it's going to cost $20,000 per month. The dollar amount doesn't really matter. Because what matters the most is that you know exactly what it is as far as a dollar amount that it would take for you to live that particular life that you desire. Once you do that and you have it written down, what you want to do is you want to take that number and multiply it by 30%. Okay? Multiply it by 30%, because we're going to create a cushion in there as well for things that you might need to take into account. For example, depending on where you live in the world, you're going to have to deal with taxes. You're going to have to deal with a few other things that you might not have thought about. And obviously, some of that stuff, for example, like your basic necessities such as food, you didn't factor into this. So we're going to add 30% to that particular number, whatever the number is. Once you write that number down, that is the target. Once you have the target, take a deep breath and exhale, and you realize now you know what you're shooting for. One other thing I want you to realize, don't become discouraged, or don't look at the number and say, my goodness, that is such a big number. How am I ever going to do this? All I make is $2,500 a month. How am I going to now be able to create $8,500 worth of income to live the life that I truly desire? Again, this is what we're going to examine now that we know exactly how much it costs for you to live the life that you desire. What you then have to do is you have to begin to analyze the marketplace as a whole. See things that are happening around you and understand the type of skills that you have that you can then bring to the marketplace to bring in more income. And we can do this dozens of ways now that we have the internet that we can leverage. Because the most important thing is that we want to leverage our time to create income, so then we can disconnect ourselves from the actual process ourselves, where we're not physically involved in the mechanism of bringing the money to us. You may have to start that way, but you want to quickly remove yourself from the process as quickly as possible. You have to begin to ask yourself, what kind of value can I bring to the marketplace? Am I able to create TikTok videos, or maybe Instagram videos, or YouTube videos that are showing people how to do certain things? You'd be surprised that the simplest things that we all take for granted can add tremendous amounts of value to other people who are seeking it. So what I want you to do is write down all the skills that you have. And then what you need to do is begin to correlate those skills to things that you can bring to people in the marketplace, whether that's on the internet or not. Most of the times you want it to be, because you're able to leverage it and get what it is that you were trying to get out to many people at one time. So that's what I suggest as well. And that is something that I do. Once you figure that out, I want you to implement what it is that your skills will bring to the marketplace. And then what you do is you begin to tweak it along the way. You analyze, okay, I'm deciding that I want to work with affiliate marketing. And so you do all the things that encompass that particular industry. What I want you to do is I want you to analyze the things that are going right with this particular venture, and the things that you have implemented that need to be honed or tweaked along the way. That's very important. What I also want you to do is analyze, how much time can I put into this particular venture? Because in the beginning, especially if you're working for someone else, your time will be limited. If you work a full-time job, which is 8 hours a day, you realize that that time is not available to you. You have 16 hours total left in a day. And remember, you have to sleep. Most people sleep between 6 and 8 hours, which is going to leave you with anywhere between 8 and 10 hours to be able to do new ventures. I would suggest in the beginning that if it's at all possible that you want to give a minimum of 2 hours per day towards a venture, uninterrupted 2 hours, where you're literally working 2 hours on that particular venture and no other ventures. These are some of the things that you can do that will begin to help you move yourself from a position that you may not necessarily want to be in, a position that you realize that your value isn't being compensated properly, to a place where you can bring an exponential amount of value to the marketplace and be rewarded for doing so. And in doing that, you're able to live the life that you truly desire. Till next time, everyone, we'll see you in the next video.